Far beyond the swirling blue marble of Earth, past innumerable stars and worlds both barren and lush, lay the sprawling dominion of the Xylothian Empire. For eons, this advanced civilization had reigned supreme, its sleek ships traversing the cosmic expanse, its superior technology, and unyielding military might ensuring total dominance over all who dared oppose them. The Xylothians, with their towering chrome cities and mastery of the fundamental forces of the universe, saw themselves as the pinnacle of evolution, the rightful rulers of all that existed. Their empire spanned galaxies, encompassing countless species and worlds, all bent to their will. Yet, for all their achievements, the Xylothians had grown complacent, their society calcified by millennia of unchallenged rule. Innovation, once the driving force behind their ascent, had long since given way to stagnation. Their technology, while still far beyond that of most species, had plateaued, with only incremental improvements made over centuries. Their culture, once vibrant and diverse, had become rigid and conformist, with any deviation from the norm swiftly and brutally suppressed. Even their conquests had lost their luster, reduced to mere routine as they subsumed world after world into their empire. It was into this milieu of galactic ennui that the UES Magellan, a human exploration vessel from distant Earth, unwittingly stumbled. Captain Lyra Singh, her crew of intrepid explorers, and their state-of-the-art ship had been dispatched to map uncharted regions of space, to seek out new frontiers and possibilities for the burgeoning Earth Commonwealth. Little did they know that their voyage would bring them face to face with the most powerful civilization the galaxy had ever known. As the Magellan dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of a nondescript star system, long-range sensors detected signs of advanced technology on the third planet. Eager to make contact with a potentially friendly species, Captain Singh ordered a course set for the unknown world. As the blue-white curve of the planet grew larger on their view screens, the crew marveled at the obvious signs of civilization. Towering cities glinting beneath the light of the system's binary stars, sprawling webs of transportation networks crisscrossing the continents, and the glittering swarms of spacecraft buzzing to and fro in the planet's busy orbital lanes. Their wonder quickly turned to trepidation, however, as a squadron of angular, gunmetal gray ships suddenly appeared on their sensors, rapidly closing on the Magellan's position. The alien craft were unlike anything the humans had encountered before, sleek, predatory, and bristling with advanced weaponry. "Captain, we're being hailed," Lieutenant Kenji Nakamura reported from the communications station, an edge of nervousness in his voice. On screen, Captain Singh ordered, straightening her uniform as she turned to face the main view screen. The screen flickered, and the visage of the Xylothian commander appeared, its angular, silvery features set in an expression of cold superiority. "Unknown vessel, you have violated the sovereign territory of the Xylothian Empire. Identify yourselves and state your purpose, or be destroyed." Captain Singh stood firm, her voice calm and level as she replied, "This is Captain Lyra Singh of the UES Magellan, representing the Earth Commonwealth. We are on a mission of peaceful exploration and mean no harm. We request permission to enter orbit and open diplomatic relations with your people." The Xylothian's expression remained impassive, its voice dripping with disdain. "Earth, we have not heard of this insignificant planet or its commonwealth. You will surrender your vessel immediately and submit to Xylothian authority. Any resistance will be met with lethal force." As the transmission cut off abruptly, Captain Singh turned to her crew, the weight of the moments settling upon them all. They had come seeking new allies, new frontiers, but instead they had stumbled into the clutches of an empire that brooked no rivals. The Magellan and her crew were about to be drawn into a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy and test the mettle of humanity as never before. On the Xylothian ship, Commander Zarnox turned to his subordinates, his face a mask of contempt. "Prepare a boarding party and seize that primitive vessel. We shall show these upstarts the folly of challenging the might of the Xylothian Empire." As the crew of the Magellan braced for the inevitable assault, Captain Singh knew that this first contact would mark a turning point for both their mission and the fate of humanity itself. In the face of overwhelming odds, they would have to rely on their ingenuity, courage, and determination to survive, and perhaps to sow the seeds of change in an empire grown stagnant and oppressive. The battle for the stars had only just begun. The Zalothian boarding party moved with ruthless efficiency, their advanced weapons and armor making short work of the Magellan's defenses. Within minutes, the human ship was under their control, its crew rounded up and brought before Commander Zarnox for interrogation. Captain Singh stood defiantly before the towering Zalothian, her arms bound behind her back, her crew arrayed beside her in a similar state. Zarnox regarded them with a mixture of curiosity and disdain, his silvery eyes glinting in the harsh light of the Magellan's Bridge. "You will tell me everything about your world, your people, and your pitiful commonwealth," Zarnox demanded, his voice dripping with menace. "Resistance will only prolong your suffering." Captain Singh met the alien's gaze unflinchingly, her voice steady as she replied, "We are a peaceful people, seeking only to explore and learn. But do not mistake our openness for weakness. Earth and its people are stronger than you can imagine." Zarnox laughed, a harsh metallic sound that echoed through the bridge. "Stronger than the Zalothian Empire, which has conquered 1,000 worlds and ruled the stars for eons. Your arrogance is astounding, human." As the interrogation proceeded, Captain Singh and her crew remained resolute, revealing only the most basic information about Earth and its burgeoning space program. But even these scraps of knowledge were enough to give Zarnox pause, hinting at a species with a level of technological advancement and potential that was rare among the Empire's subjugated worlds. In a moment of defiance, Captain Singh looked Zarnox in the eye and spoke words that would echo through the halls of Zalothian power. "You may have conquered 1,000 worlds, but you have never faced a people like us. We will not bow to your tyranny, and we will not be broken by your might. The stars belong to all of us, and we will fight for our place among them." Zarnox's face contorted with rage, but beneath the anger, a flicker of uncertainty took root. He had seen the fire in this human's eyes, the unwavering determination that spoke of a spirit unbroken by the Empire's dominance. If one ship, one crew, could display such resilience, what might their entire species be capable of? Disturbed by these thoughts, Zarnox ordered the Magellan and its crew to be taken to a secure Zalothian facility for further study. As the human ship was towed away, its crew confined to their quarters, Zarnox returned to his own vessel to make his report to the Imperial Regent. "Your Eminence," Zarnox began, bowing before the holographic image of the Regent, "we have encountered a new species, one that calls itself human. They are technologically advanced, though still primitive by our standards. But there is something unusual about them, a strength of will, a defiance that I have not seen before." The Regent regarded Zarnox coldly, his voice a whisper of silk and steel. "You speak of a handful of creatures as if they were a threat to the Empire. Are you so easily shaken, Commander?" Zarnox bowed his head, chastened by the Regent's words. "No, Your Eminence. I merely thought it prudent to inform you of this encounter. The human spoke of an Earth Commonwealth, a potential power we have not yet encountered." The Regent waved a dismissive hand. "A minor civilization, no doubt, clinging to delusions of grandeur. Send a scout force to assess this Earth and its defenses. If they show any signs of resistance, crush them without mercy. The Zalothian Empire will not tolerate any challenge to its rule." As the Regent's image faded, Zarnox turned to his subordinates, his face set in grim determination. "Prepare a scout force for immediate deployment to the human system. We shall see what this Earth is made of, and whether they have the strength to back up their bold words." Light years away, on the blue-green world of Earth, the arrival of the Magellan's distress signal sparked a wave of activity among the planet's leaders. The knowledge that humanity was not alone in the universe, and that a hostile power had taken their ship and crew, galvanized the Earth Commonwealth into action. As the Zalothian scouts raced towards Earth, the humans prepared for the confrontation that would define their place in the galaxy. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations, a battle not just for the fate of one world, but for the very future of the stars themselves. As the Zalothian scout force hurtled through the void towards Earth, the planet's disparate nations and factions found themselves united by a common purpose. The arrival of the Magellan's distress signal had shattered any illusions of humanity's isolation in the cosmos, and the knowledge of an impending alien threat had spurred even the most reluctant governments into action. In hastily convened meetings, world leaders put aside their differences and pooled their resources, recognizing that only through cooperation could they hope to stand against the might of the Zalothian Empire. The Earth Commonwealth, once a loose alliance of spacefaring nations, now became the focal point of humanity's defense efforts. At the heart of these preparations was Dr. Akira Tanaka, a brilliant physicist and engineer who had long dreamed of pushing the boundaries of human knowledge and technology. With the full backing of the Earth Commonwealth, Dr. Tanaka assembled a team of the world's greatest scientific minds, tasking them with developing the tools and weapons that would be needed to face the Zalothian threat. In secret laboratories and research facilities around the globe, Dr. Tanaka's team worked tirelessly, building upon the cutting-edge discoveries of Earth's scientific community. From advanced propulsion systems and energy weapons to sophisticated AI and nanotech, they sought to create a technological arsenal that could match the Zalothians' own formidable capabilities. As the days turned into weeks, the Earth Commonwealth's military forces also mobilized, training in new tactics and strategies designed to counter the expected Zalothian assault. Pilots honed their skills in advanced spacecraft, while ground troops drilled in the use of powered exoskeletons and energy shields. The people of Earth, once divided by nationality and ideology, now found themselves united in a common cause, their eyes turned towards the stars and the fate that awaited them. Far beyond Earth's orbit, the Zalothian scout force entered the solar system, their sensors probing the blue-green world for signs of advanced technology and military might. To their surprise, they found a civilization far more advanced than they had anticipated, with a level of technological development that belied the human status as a newly spacefaring species. As the scout ships took up positions around Earth, their commanders debated their next move. Some argued for an immediate assault, confident that the humans would quickly buckle under the weight of Zalothian firepower. Others, more cautious, suggested a more measured approach, wary of underestimating a species that had already defied their expectations. In the end, the choice was made for them. A transmission from the Imperial Regent cut through their deliberations, the holographic image of the Zalothian leader towering over the scout ship's command centers. "You have studied the humans and their pitiful Earth Commonwealth," the Regent said, his voice dripping with contempt. "Now is the time to bring them to heel. Broadcast our demands for their immediate surrender and subjugation. If they resist, make an example of them. The Zalothian Empire will not tolerate any challenge to its rule." The scout commanders bowed their heads in acknowledgement, their faces set in grim determination. As the transmission ended, they turned to their crews, issuing the orders that would set in motion the next phase of the confrontation. On Earth, the Zalothian demands were met with shock and outrage. The idea of surrendering to an alien power, of submitting to the will of a tyrannical empire, was anathema to the people of Earth. In a rare show of unity, the Earth Commonwealth's leaders rejected the ultimatum, declaring that humanity would fight for its freedom and its place among the stars. As the Zalothian scouts received the humans' defiant response, they prepared for battle, confident in their superior technology and firepower. They did not yet realize that they were about to face an adversary unlike any they had encountered before, a species whose greatest strength lay not in the advanced weapons and ships they had built, but in their indomitable spirit, their unwavering determination to forge their own destiny. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy, as two civilizations, one ancient and stagnant, the other young and vibrant, clashed in a battle for the future of all sentient life. The Zalothians, secure in their millennia-long rule, were about to learn that the universe was far more vast and unpredictable than they had ever imagined, and that the true masters of the stars were those who dared to dream, to innovate, and to fight for their place among the cosmos. As the Zalothian demands echoed through the halls of power on Earth, a wave of anger and resolve swept across the planet. In the face of an alien threat, old rivalries and conflicts were cast aside, replaced by a shared determination to protect humanity's future. The United Earth Council, a hastily formed governing body representing the diverse nations of the planet, met in an emergency session to formulate a response. The debate was fierce, with some advocating for capitulation in the face of the Zalothians' overwhelming might, while others argued for resistance at any cost. In the end, it was the words of Dr. Akira Tanaka that swayed the council. The brilliant scientist, his face lined with exhaustion from countless hours spent in the laboratory, spoke with a quiet intensity that commanded the attention of all present. "We stand at a crossroads in human history," Dr. Tanaka began, his eyes sweeping the gathered representatives. "The path of surrender may seem the easiest, the safest, but it is a path that leads only to servitude and the slow death of all that makes us human. If we bend the knee to these Zalothians, we will be forever shackled to their will, our fate determined by the whims of a tyrannical empire." He paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. "But there is another path, a harder path, but one that offers the promise of freedom and self-determination. We have the technology, the resourcefulness, and the indomitable human spirit to stand against this threat. We must fight, not just for ourselves, but for the future of all the species who may one day look to us as an example, as a beacon of hope in the face of oppression." As Dr. Tanaka finished his speech, a hush fell over the council chamber. Then, one by one, the representatives rose to their feet, their faces set in determination. The decision was unanimous. Earth would reject the Zalothian demands and prepare for war. Far above the planet, the Zalothian scout ships received the humans' response with a mix of shock and disbelief. The idea that a primitive species would dare to defy the might of their empire was utterly alien to them, a concept that defied the very foundations of their society. The scout commander, a grizzled veteran of countless conquests, immediately ordered his ships to assume attack formations. The humans would learn the price of their insolence, he vowed, and the Zalothian Empire would once again demonstrate its unassailable dominance over the lesser species of the galaxy. As the Zalothian ships accelerated towards Earth, the planet's newly developed defense systems sprang into action. From hidden bases on the moon and in high orbit, swarms of unmanned drones and missiles streaked towards the approaching enemy, guided by the most advanced AI and targeting systems ever devised by human science. The first wave of EMP cannons, massive electromagnetic railguns designed by Dr. Tanaka's team, opened fire, their projectiles moving at a significant fraction of the speed of light. The Zalothian ships, their shields attuned to repel more conventional weapons, were caught off guard by the sheer power and velocity of the human weapons. Several Zalothian scouts were hit, their shields flickering and failing under the onslaught. As the stricken ships tumbled out of formation, their hulls rupturing and spilling debris into the void, the remaining Zalothians returned fire, their advanced weaponry slicing through the human defenses with ruthless efficiency. But even as Earth's orbital platforms and drones were decimated, the planet's ground-based defenses came online. Swarms of hypersonic missiles, each carrying a payload of autonomous hunter-killer drones, streaked into the sky, overwhelming the Zalothian point defenses and striking their ships with devastating force. The scout commander, his ship rocked by the impact of a dozen missiles, watched in disbelief as his force was slowly whittled away by the relentless human assault. The primitives, it seemed, were not so primitive after all. As the battle raged in the skies above Earth, the Zalothian High Command received word of the shocking developments. The scout force, expected to easily subdue the upstart humans, was instead fighting for its very survival against a species that had proven far more resilient and resourceful than any could have predicted. The news sent shockwaves through the Xylothian hierarchy, sparking a mixture of disbelief, outrage, and a growing sense of unease. If the humans could challenge the Empire's dominance so effectively, what other threats might lurk in the vast reaches of the galaxy, waiting to be awakened by the Xylothians' own hubris? As the High Command debated their next move, the Imperial Regent, his face a mask of cold fury, issued his decree. The humans had proven themselves a true threat to the Xylothian Empire, and such a threat could not be allowed to persist. A full-scale invasion force would be assembled, a mighty armada that would descend upon Earth and crush the human resistance once and for all. The Regent's orders were met with a chorus of assent, the Xylothian leadership united in their determination to restore the Empire's unquestioned supremacy. As the word spread throughout the Xylothian domains, fleets of warships and legions of soldiers began to mobilize, preparing for a campaign that would rattle the very foundations of the galaxy. On Earth, the news of the impending invasion was met with a mixture of fear and grim resolve. The people of the planet, their eyes open to the harsh realities of the universe, steeled themselves for the struggle to come. In laboratories and factories across the globe, Dr. Tanaka and his team redoubled their efforts, pushing the boundaries of human ingenuity as they raced to develop the weapons and technologies that would be Earth's only hope against the coming storm. As the stage was set for a battle that would determine the fate of not just one world, but the entire galaxy, the humans of Earth stood united, ready to face the greatest challenge in their species' history. They had defied the Xylothians once, and they would do so again, no matter the cost. The war for the stars had only just begun, and the Xylothian Empire was about to learn that the true measure of a civilization lay not in the strength of its ships and weapons, but in the courage and determination of its people. The humans, once dismissed as primitives and upstarts, were about to show the galaxy what they were truly made of, and the universe would never be the same again. As the Xylothian invasion force assembled on the Empire's frontier, the skies above Earth became a hive of activity. Fleets of human ships, hastily constructed and crewed by volunteers from every nation, took up defensive positions around the planet, while on the surface, armies of ground troops prepared for the all-too-real possibility of alien invasion. In the heart of this frenzy of activity, Dr. Akira Tanaka and his team worked tirelessly to develop the next generation of weapons and defenses that would be Earth's best hope against the coming onslaught. Drawing on the data gathered from the initial skirmish with the Xylothian scouts, they refined and improved upon their existing designs, pushing the boundaries of human technology to its limits. One of their most promising developments was a new type of AI-driven computer virus, designed specifically to target and disrupt Xylothian systems. Built upon the insights gained from captured alien technology, these sophisticated digital weapons were capable of infiltrating and subverting even the most heavily defended Xylothian networks, sowing chaos and confusion among the enemy ranks. Alongside the cyber weapons, Dr. Tanaka's team also developed a range of advanced nanotech disruptors, microscopic machines that could be deployed en masse to sabotage Xylothian equipment and infrastructure. These swarms of nanobots, controlled by highly adaptive AI systems, promised to be a potent weapon in the coming battle, capable of turning the enemy's own technology against them. As the fruits of Earth's scientific and industrial might took shape, the planet's military leaders began to formulate new strategies and tactics to counter the Xylothian threat. Drawing inspiration from the pack-hunting behaviors of Earth's predators, they developed a doctrine of wolf-pack engagements, in which small, highly maneuverable ships would work together to harass and wear down the larger, more powerful Xylothian vessels. These wolf packs, equipped with the latest in stealth technology and armed with a mixture of conventional and directed energy weapons, would be the vanguard of Earth's defense, striking swiftly and fading away before the enemy could bring their full might to bear. As the days turned into weeks, the people of Earth waited with bated breath for the arrival of the Xylothian invasion force. The silence of the void was broken only by the occasional burst of chatter from the far-flung sensor arrays, each new contact a potential harbinger of the coming storm. When the Zalothians finally came, they did so with a fury that seemed to shake the very stars themselves. A vast armada of warships, each one dwarfing the largest of Earth's vessels, emerged from the depths of space, their hulls bristling with weapons and their holds leaden with legions of battle-hardened troops. At the head of this mighty fleet was the Zilothian flagship, a colossal dreadnought that dwarfed even its fellow warships. From its command deck, the Imperial Regent himself oversaw the invasion, his cold, pitiless gaze fixed upon the blue-green world that had dared to defy his will. As the Zilothian ships entered Earth's orbit, they were met by a barrage of fire from the planet's defending fleets and orbital platforms. The human ships, though outmatched in size and raw power, fought with a tenacity and skill that surprised the Zilothian commanders, their wolf pack tactics allowing them to score crucial hits against the enemy vessels. But even as the human ships fought valiantly, the sheer weight of Zilothian numbers began to take its toll. One by one, the Earth vessels fell, overwhelmed by the relentless onslaught of alien firepower. On the surface, the situation was no less dire. Zilothian dropships, each one carrying hundreds of heavily armed troops, began to land in cities and strategic locations across the planet. Their objective to crush any remaining resistance and establish a foothold for the coming occupation. But the people of Earth would not go quietly into the night. In every city, in every town and village, the human defenders fought back with a ferocity born of desperation and courage. They met the Zilothian troops in the streets and in the fields, in the mountains and in the forests, fighting with every weapon at their disposal, from advanced energy rifles to simple clubs and knives. And all the while, Dr. Tanaka and his team continued their work, racing against time to develop new weapons and technologies that could turn the tide of the war. As the Zilothian ships began to fall victim to the AI viruses and nanotech disruptors, as the wolf packs scored ever more daring and devastating hits against the enemy fleet, a glimmer of hope began to emerge amidst the chaos and destruction. The humans, for all their weakness and primitiveness in the eyes of the Zilothians, were proving to be a far more formidable foe than anyone could have predicted. Their tenacity, their ingenuity, and their sheer, indomitable will to survive were qualities that the stagnant, hidebound Zilothian Empire had long since forgotten. As the battle raged on, and the fate of Earth hung in the balance, one thing became clear. The Zilothians had underestimated the humans, and in doing so, they had sown the seeds of their own destruction. For in the crucible of war, the people of Earth were discovering a strength and unity they had never known before, a sense of purpose that transcended national boundaries and petty differences. They were fighting not just for their own survival, but for the future of their species, and for the right of all sentient beings to chart their own destiny among the stars. And in that fight, they would either emerge victorious or perish in the attempt. But they would never, never surrender. The invasion of Earth had begun, but the true battle for the soul of the galaxy was only just beginning. And in the end, it would be the courage, the determination, and the unbreakable spirit of humanity that would decide the fate of the cosmos itself. As the Zilothian invasion of Earth entered its second week, the initial shock and awe of the alien onslaught had begun to give way to a grim, determined resistance. Across the planet, human forces fought with a tenacity and resourcefulness that belied their technological inferiority, trading space for time as they sought to bleed the Zilothians dry and buy precious moments for Dr. Tanaka and his team to work their scientific miracles. In the skies above Earth, the wolf packs continued their hit-and-run attacks, striking at the Zilothian fleet with a speed and ferocity that left the alien commanders reeling. Equipped with the latest in human stealth technology and armed with an array of unconventional weapons, from EMP missiles to nanite swarms, these small, agile ships proved to be a constant thorn in the side of the Zilothian armada. On the ground, the human resistance was no less fierce. In cities and towns across the planet, Xylothian troops found themselves bogged down in a brutal, block-by-block war of attrition, facing an enemy that seemed to melt away into the shadows only to reappear with deadly force when least expected. From the shattered streets of New York to the rain-soaked forests of the Amazon, the people of Earth fought with a savagery and determination that shocked the Xylothian commanders, who had long since forgotten what it meant to face a truly determined foe. But even as the humans fought with all the strength and courage they could muster, the sheer weight of Xylothian numbers and technology began to take its toll. For every enemy ship destroyed, for every Xylothian soldier killed, there seemed to be a dozen more to take their place. Slowly but surely, the invaders began to gain ground, their relentless advance crushing all resistance in its path. It was in this darkest hour, with all hope seeming lost, that a daring plan was hatched. A small team of Earth's most skilled and daring soldiers, led by none other than Captain Lyra Singh herself, would infiltrate the Xylothian flagship and strike at the heart of the enemy command. It was a mission of almost certain death, but one that offered the only chance of turning the tide of the war. Using captured Xylothian shuttles and equipped with the latest in human stealth technology, Singh and her team managed to slip past the enemy defenses and board the massive dreadnought undetected. Once inside, they began a desperate race against time, fighting their way through hordes of Xylothian warriors as they sought to reach the ship's command center and confront the Imperial Regent himself. The battle that followed was the stuff of legends. Singh and her soldiers, outnumbered and outgunned, fought with a skill and ferocity that stunned the Xylothian defenders. Using a combination of human ingenuity and captured alien weapons, they managed to fight their way to the very heart of the enemy vessel, where they found themselves face to face with the Regent himself. In that moment, as Singh and the Regent locked eyes across the smoke-filled command center, the fate of two civilizations hung in the balance. The Regent, his face a mask of cold disdain, offered Singh a chance to surrender, promising a quick and merciful death for her and her soldiers. But Singh, her eyes blazing with a fire that seemed to light up the very air around her, had a different idea. With a cry of defiance that echoed through the halls of the Xylothian flagship, Singh and her soldiers charged forward, engaging the Regent and his elite guard in a furious close-quarters battle. The fighting was brutal and bloody, but in the end, it was the humans who emerged victorious. The Regent, his once proud form broken and lifeless at Singh's feet, had been defeated, and with him, the Xylothian invasion had been dealt a blow from which it would never recover. As news of the Regent's death spread throughout the Xylothian fleet, a wave of panic and disarray began to take hold. The alien commanders, their confidence shattered and their resolve broken, began to withdraw from Earth's orbit, their ships limping back to the safety of Xylothian space like wounded beasts fleeing a predator. On the surface of Earth, the human resistance erupted in joyous celebration as the news of the Xylothian retreat spread like wildfire. In cities and towns across the planet, people took to the streets in spontaneous outpourings of relief and triumph, their courage and sacrifice vindicated by the sudden, shocking turn of events. But even as the humans celebrated their hard-won victory, they knew that the war was far from over. The Xylothian Empire, though bloodied and beaten, was still a powerful and dangerous foe, and there would be many battles yet to come before the threat was truly vanquished. But for now, in this moment of triumph and glory, the people of Earth could hold their heads high, knowing that they had done the impossible. They had faced the most powerful civilization in the galaxy and emerged victorious, not through superior technology or overwhelming force, but through the sheer indomitable power of the human spirit. As Dr. Tanaka and his team began the long, hard work of rebuilding and recovery, as the soldiers and civilians alike began to pick up the pieces of their shattered world, a new sense of purpose and unity began to take hold. The people of Earth had been forged in the crucible of war, tempered by the flames of adversity, and they had emerged stronger, more resilient, and more determined than ever before. They had shown the galaxy what humanity was capable of, and in doing so, they had set the stage for a new era of exploration, discovery, and progress. The Xylothian Empire, once the unquestioned masters of the stars, had been humbled by a small blue-green world on the edge of the cosmos, and the universe would never be the same again. The war was far from over, but for now, the people of Earth could bask in the glow of their triumphs, secure in the knowledge that they had earned their place among the stars, and that the future, whatever it might hold, was theirs to shape and to cherish. And as the people of Earth looked to the skies, to the infinite possibilities that awaited them, they did so with hearts full of hope, courage, and an unshakable faith in the power of the human spirit to overcome any challenge, no matter how great or how daunting. The Xylothians had come to conquer, but in the end, it was the humans who had emerged victorious, not just on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of all who had borne witness to their incredible feat. And as the story of Earth's great triumph spread throughout the galaxy, inspiring countless other species to rise up and throw off the yoke of oppression, the legend of humanity's indomitable spirit would endure, a shining beacon of hope and courage in a universe that had all too often been dominated by fear, tyranny, and the cold, uncaring void of space. In the aftermath of the Xylothian retreat, the galaxy stood poised on the brink of a new era. The once mighty Xylothian Empire, its fleets shattered and its leadership in disarray, found itself beset on all sides by the very species it had so long oppressed. From the far reaches of the galactic rim to the heart of the empire itself, the subjected races of the Xylothians rose up in rebellion, emboldened by the example of Earth and the knowledge that even the mightiest of tyrants could be brought low by the power of unity and determination. On Earth, the process of rebuilding and recovery was already well underway. Under the guidance of Dr. Tanaka and his team, the shattered cities and infrastructure of the planet were slowly but surely restored, their wounds healed by the same ingenuity and resilience that had brought humanity victory in its darkest hour. But even as Earth began to rebuild, its people knew that their work was far from over. The Xylothian threat, though diminished, was still far from eliminated, and there were countless other dangers lurking in the vast reaches of space, waiting to be faced and overcome. To meet these challenges, the people of Earth began to look outward, to the stars that had once seemed so distant and unreachable. With the knowledge and technology they had gained from their victory over the Xylothians, they began to build a new fleet of ships, faster, stronger, and more advanced than anything that had come before. At the forefront of this new wave of exploration and discovery was none other than Captain Lyra Singh, now hailed as a hero of the resistance and a symbol of humanity's indomitable spirit. With her ship, the Phoenix, and a crew of the best and brightest that Earth had to offer, Singh set out to forge new alliances, to seek out new worlds and civilizations, and to spread the message of hope and unity that had brought her people so far. As Singh and her crew journeyed deeper into the uncharted reaches of space, they encountered species and cultures beyond anything they had ever imagined. Some were friendly, eager to forge bonds of friendship and cooperation with the upstart humans who had so shaken the foundations of the galaxy. Others were hostile, seeing in humanity a potential rival for power and dominance. But through it all, Singh and her crew remained true to the ideals that had brought them so far. They met aggression with compassion, ignorance with understanding, and fear with the unwavering courage that had become the hallmark of their species. And as word of their deeds spread throughout the galaxy, more and more species began to rally to their cause. The Xylothian Empire, once the unquestioned master of the stars, found itself beset on all sides by a growing coalition of free and independent races, united by a common desire for self-determination and a shared vision of a galaxy ruled not by fear and oppression, but by cooperation, innovation, and the boundless potential of sentient life. At the center of this new alliance was Earth, now a shining beacon of hope and inspiration for all who sought to throw off the shackles of tyranny and forge their own destiny among the stars. Its people, once dismissed as primitives and upstarts, were now hailed as heroes and visionaries, the architects of a new and better future for all the peoples of the galaxy. As the Xylothian Empire retreated ever further into the depths of space, its once proud fleets reduced to a mere shadow of their former glory. The free races of the galaxy began to build a new order, one founded on the principles of cooperation, innovation, and mutual respect. Under the leadership of Earth and its allies, the galaxy entered a new era of unprecedented peace and prosperity, a time of great discovery and progress that would come to be known as the Galactic Renaissance. And at the heart of it all, guiding and inspiring the countless species and cultures of the galaxy, was the indomitable spirit of humanity itself, the unquenchable fire that had brought light to the darkness and hope to the hopeless, and that would continue to burn brightly for generations to come, a testament to the power of unity, courage, and the unbreakable bonds of sentient life. As the Phoenix and its crew journeyed ever deeper into the uncharted reaches of space, their legacy secure and their place in history assured, the people of Earth looked to the future with hearts full of hope and minds full of wonder, eager to embrace the endless possibilities that awaited them, and to build a better tomorrow for themselves and for all the peoples of the galaxy. And so the story of humanity's great awakening drew to a close, not with a whimper but with a bang, a triumphant declaration of the power of the human spirit to overcome any obstacle, to shatter any barrier, and to reach for the stars themselves, no matter how high or how far they might seem.